I've had this file for years. Considering how old it looks, that's probably obvious. Lately, I've been slowly losing my notes because some human thinks they make great scrap paper. These are the last remnants of my paper notes. I didn't throw them away because I didn't have them with me at the time I threw the rest of my notes away, some years back. After much deliberation, we settled on the idea of saving these notes as digital ones. I wish I'd done this with my other notes. It hurts each time I think about it. So, when you go digital, remember to scan your paper notes before throwing them away. I didn't do that when I went paperless, and I have regretted it ever since. For this digital transformation, we used PDFelement. Hey guys, it's Rob Seepak with Paperless X, a channel dedicated to maximizing your time and energy during your digital transformation. Welcome if you're tuning in for the first time. To get notified whenever we upload a new video, make sure you subscribe and enable notifications. If you're already subscribed, fantastic human, we're delighted to have you back. We had a variety of notes to scan, including printed handouts, handwritten notes, graphs, and sticky notes. Our plan was to scan everything and then add sticky notes, most likely handwritten. PDFelement uses the inbuilt iPadOS scanning engine. It's simple to use, and you have a range of options for customizing the color of your scanned images. We scanned everything in color, even plain old text, because my notes are colorful. Initially, we used an iPad to scan the papers in batches at a time. Though we used a relatively small iPad, it was still too big to scan the volume of paperwork we had. So after a while, Uncle Dan switched to using his iPhone, which is more portable. The scan quality from the iPad and iPhone was quite similar. Because the iPhone typically takes better pictures than the iPad, we found this interesting. It took about 6 to 7 hours to scan 486 pages. I doubt Uncle Dan will be touching my notes after this. He's the only reason we're doing this, because I was mad about how he was handling my notes. So, yeah. After we finished scanning, we sent the documents via AirDrop to a MacBook. If only PDFelement could sync between devices, life would have been much easier. On the Mac, we then merged all the documents into one. PDFelement on the desktop, unlike the iPad version, has optical character recognition, OCR, which will allow us to get more from these scans. The application supports 29 OCR languages, which is a decent number of languages. We tried out a few different OCR methods on sample pages before making a final decision on the OCR option to go for. We didn't want to ruin 500 pages of notes. PDFelement can perform OCR on all the pages in your document at once, or you can apply this to specific pages. It also has two kinds of optical character recognition features, editable and searchable OCR. We tried editable OCR first, which let us edit the type notes, change their font and color, which was a huge plus. The handwritten notes, however, did not convert as well. In fact, it was very bad, which is not surprising because PDF editors and PDF readers can't convert handwriting to text as a general rule. Another factor that swayed our decision from editable OCR was just how feasible it would be to edit 100 pages. This works for small documents that you want looking clean, like I did with my French notes. PDFelement's conversion accuracy is impressive. We would recommend it for that. So if you want to convert text on a file and want to edit it, then PDFelement will work very well for that. But since searchable OCR is equally impressive in the application and it required less effort on our part, we chose to embrace it. That's the one we went for. I no longer have to flip through hundreds of pages in a file to find what I need. PDFelement indexes not only typed but also handwritten notes. How fantastic is that? The navigation panel is useful for quickly skimming through your results. Just like any other PDF, I can mark up my scans in PDFelement. You can highlight, underline, strike out anything on your scan. You can also annotate by adding text boxes, call out boxes, and stickers. All these tools work slightly better with text than handwriting. PDFelement tracks all the annotations you make. You can skip to these annotations with a single tap or a single click. A good PDF reader should track your annotations. You also have the option to hide them, which we like. PDFelement handles large PDFs very well on the Mac. The app doesn't crash or freeze while working on your documents on macOS. It's a bit unstable on Windows though. Since most of the sticky notes are handwritten, we ended up deciding to handwrite them onto the scans instead of scanning them. It wasn't a lot of work because they're not a lot, so handwriting them wasn't a problem at all. Yet again, syncing was a problem. We had to airdrop the 240 plus megabyte OCR scan to the iPad. You'll see right away that the iPad version of PDFelement doesn't handle huge files well. This is a problem with all PDF readers and editors, not just this particular app. If your files are huge, you may experience some lag, whichever PDF reader you pick up on the iPad. To find pages containing sticky notes, I had to search for a few words, the keywords. Because OCR is still working on the exported scan, it was easy to find the pages I needed. PDFelement could search handwritten and typed notes even after exporting the scan to its iPad version. That doesn't actually have OCR capabilities. On the iPad, I could zoom in to handwrite my notes on any space I could find. PDFelement's ballpoint pen is not my favorite pen tool. So after writing a few notes, I exported the scan to Noteful, my preferred note-taking app. In Noteful, I could still search the scan, both text and handwritten, so searching still worked in third-party apps. I used the layers feature in Noteful to add the sticky notes to the scans so that I will be able to show or hide them whenever I like. The app's zooming capabilities allowed me to add these notes to pages that literally had no space. I also switched to Noteful so I could use my preferred pen tools. They're more pleasant to use. I love the fact that I can put my sticky notes on a different layer where I can just hide them when I want and show them when I need them. My interaction with the exported scan in Noteful was exactly the same as it was in PDFelement for both the MacBook and iPad. The only difference was that Noteful handled the scan better than PDFelement for the iPad. The PDFelement OCR conversion is excellent. It's the best we've used, especially if you're dealing with a large number of papers. For scanning documents that we intend to index for searching, PDFelement is now our favorite tool. At the moment, the only real drawback is the large file size this conversion produces. After adding a few notes in PDFelement on the iPad, our 486-page document ballooned to 540 megabytes from 240 something megabytes. When you have an iPad with little storage, that becomes a real concern. And that brings us to the end of this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Let us know what apps you have used in the past for scanning your paper documents. Thank you, Fantastic Human, for watching. See you in the next video.